This is my story for Music Generation Mayo on the role that music played in my life as a tutor, as growing up. So, born in the mid-60s to Irish parents in Birmingham in the UK, the music of my childhood was a mixture of Mungo Jerry and Big Tom and the Mainliners, mostly my parents' music. Music was like a backdrop, it was just part of the scenery. It never played a huge part in my world, and despite being woven into the very fabric of my life, and if anyone had whispered into my 13-year-old's ear and said, in 20 years' time, you will be an accomplished African drummer and a facilitator, and music will be your life, I would have said, no way, not in a million years. At no point of my childhood or young adult life was there anything to indicate that I would make my living from music. I wanted to be a social worker. Music played virtually no role in my world. On reflection of this amazing musical journey that I have been on for the last 20 years, I can find only one tiny clue in my past that might have given me an indication of the latent passion that resided within me, yet to be discovered. While living in London in my early 20s, having spent a number of disastrous years in art college, I would wander the streets of Camden at weekends watching street musicians and drummers playing. The pulse of the drum always drew me to it, and I would watch these musicians play in a sense of awe of how cool I thought they were, and how talented they were, and how far removed these cool, talented human beings were from my small, untalented world. I looked at them from the edges of envy and from the smallness of my self-identity and self-belief. Never in a million years did I ever think that I could create and be a part of such an eclectic, creative musical world. Not in a million years did I think that I possessed within me the same depth of musical ability, passion and pulse that would eventually emanate from every cell of my being, forging one of the most exciting life journeys I could ever possibly have imagined for myself. In 1999, a mother of 3 small children, I was asked by a group of women friends if I wanted to go with them to an African drumming day in a neighbouring community centre. So I booked a babysitter, looking for any excuse to have a child-free day. I paid my deposit for the day out. So the morning of the day-long drumming workshop arrived, and every single one of my friends backed out with various excuses. I was so pissed off driving down that day on my own that they had all backed out on me and that I was now the only one attending. I was mad at myself for having paid the deposit and was thinking of all the jobs that I could be doing around my house instead of wasting a day alone without anyone with me, no company, at a drumming workshop of all things. Little did I know that this was the day that would change the destiny of my life a full 360 degrees. I walked into a room full of drums and the bottom fell out of my world. I was hooked. And when we began to play that slow, steady pulse, I actually felt like I was having an out-of-body experience. Such was my physical reaction to it. I sank into the pulse and every cell of my body danced in recognition. I was home. The journey from that day to this has been a rhythmical roller coaster. I've had so many amazing teachers, both African and European, and I have drummed in the most unexpected places, both physical and non-physical. I have drummed with hundreds, if not thousands of people. I have seen the power of drumming transform people's lives. I have seen it create community and connection, and I have seen the power of rhythm both heal, rebuild, and reach into the darkest of places and bring life where there was only hopelessness. I have walked into a room full of strangers with my drums and my eclectic mix of percussion sounds and watched them transform from disbelievers into believers. The belief that every single human being has the ability to make music, not just alone, but together. And that we each possess a unique, beautifully chaotic musical melody that complements the world around us. I saw the power of collective music making over and over again, little miracles exploding like ripples in the most unlikely places. I went ahead and did my social care degrees and my MA, only so I could legitimately access the places where music never reached. I made it my mission. I brought music into all of the darkest corners I could find. I became a social activist using music as my tool. After 20 years of drumming, I would not say I'm a great drummer. In fact, I am a pretty mediocre drummer, as drummers go. But I always describe myself not as a drummer, but as a facilitator who uses music and drumming as a tool to bring people together. I believe that everybody can make music and participate in collective music making, regardless of their ability or self-belief. I believe that as human beings, we have the right to music making. I now see music as a deeply powerful tool that requires skillful facilitation and integrity so that it can come alive in people, transforming their lives.